initiated a process to fill the position in anticipation of his retirement.
Duly advertised.
And the position was
Candidates
duly
were
advertised.
shortlisted, one of whom was Brigadier Mkhwanazi.
One of whom was Brigadier Mkhwanazi.
Can I go ahead, SC?
Please do.
64. Interviews were held on the 24th of
Interviews were held on the 24th
October 2023.
2023.
A panel was
October
constituted by
Human Resource
HOD, HR,
Human Resource HOD,
Linda Kasheka.
HR, that is
I was the
Linda
chairperson
Kasheka.
of the interview panel, and the other two members were, that is Ms. Kasheka and the HOD Shrek, Zanele Katembo. The two candidates were interviewed, the candidates which were shortlisted. It was Brigadier Mkhwanazi and the staff officer Ivan Duplessis. At the conclusion of the interviews, both candidates, as is a norm for the appointment at that level, were to undertake competency assessment, at the conclusion of which the panel will convene at a later stage and make a final evaluation based on the interview scores and the competency assessment results, and thereafter recommend the successful candidates for appointment. 67, the HOD, HR, never reconvened the panel for the purpose stated above. I have never seen the competence assessment results of either candidates and do not know if either undertook such assessment. I can confirm that the interview panel thus never completed its task and neither did it recommend the appointment of any of the two candidates to the post. On paragraph 67, I never saw Brigadier Mkhwanazi. I next saw Brigadier Mkhwanazi with the new insignia Georgettes of the rank of a Deputy Chief of Police. During the first week of December, I remember we were at a roadblock. He came wearing the new ranks of a Deputy Chief of Police. I did not inquire from him how he achieved this rank at first. The panel did not recommend him for appointment, and secondly, neither did I, as the Chief of Police, conferred the rank on him, because this is a norm which, when an employee has been appointed or promoted, I have to confer a rank to that individual who has been appointed.
On that score, if I may, is the rank conferred in a particular way during a particular process, or do you just go to his office and give him or her the necessary insignia and georgettes? What's the process normally?
We usually, or I usually, call my management team and then introduce the person who has been appointed in the department. I bring those ranks to that session, and then I introduce the member to the team, of which is my management team. Thereafter, I confer the rank to that individual who has been appointed.
And as a matter of interest, in conferring the rank, do you get to attach the necessary insignia and georgettes, or do you give them to the member to attach onto their uniform at their leisure?
That is myself as the Chief of Police who must do that work.
Thank you, Chief. You may continue.
I've got a question.
The Commissioner Khumalo.
Chief, I'm assuming when you go up the ladder and you become a deputy chief of police at the EMPD, it comes with additional benefits such as a new office, better salary, better conditions. Are you aware of any letter given to Brigadier Mkhwanazi that officially appointed him as Deputy Chief of Police and increased his employment benefits such as salary and office and those things?
Thank you, Commissioner. That is the procedure. Number one, I did not receive or seen his letter of appointment. Number two, yes, there are benefits included in your newly responsibilities which you might have been given, including the office space as well. So that did not come to my attention, the issues of the letter, I did not see it. At a later stage, I wrote a letter to the head of human resource requesting such, including the condition of his appointment, because he was now appointed on a contract basis. He had to do a performance assessment. I have to do performance assessment on him. So he ought to have those. So I've requested from the human resource. It was never provided to me.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Chief. You may then continue with your statement. You were dealing with the contents of paragraph 68.
I thought SC had dealt with number 68.
You may continue. Thank you.
Number 69, I subsequently saw Brigadier Mkhwanazi sign all EMPD communications as a Deputy Chief of Police Operations. I submit that this constitutes a misrepresentation as he has never been appointed by the panel to this position, neither as he conferred his rank by me as the Chief of Police.
Thank you.
Did you mean recommended there? I had understood that it is not the panel that appoints. The panel recommends, and then the city will appoint, or the city manager. The role of the panel, as I understood it, was to interview, assess, and recommend.
That is correct, Commissioner, as I've just indicated, because immediately after the interviews, one expected that he will then, because this is an HR process, he will then have to go through this assessment competency, thereafter recommendations to the city manager, then who will then finally appoint the individual.
Chief Mapiyeye, yesterday you told us how many deputy chiefs there are and that they report to you. Now, ordinarily, would you have access to information about their appointments, the terms of appointments, and their performance contracts that you say you evaluate? Would you ordinarily have those as the chief?
Thank you, Commissioner. That is part of my responsibilities, because all the 5 deputy chiefs of police, they have to sign a performance contract or performance agreement with me, which I will have to evaluate quarterly and submit reports accordingly.
So after Brigadier Mkhwanazi's promotion now to Deputy Police Chief, is he then the only one that whose performance contract you didn't have? as a result?
Until until September last year, from when he was appointed in December 2023 up to September last year, I never received or I never seen his performance contract and his condition of appointment. But the rest I've got. Reason I wanted also to see his performance agreement contract, because at some stage I've sent him a letter, all the deputies, that you shall all go for vetting purposes. And I've arranged that session with SSA that they must go for vetting. The rest went. He responded to me and said it is not in his performance contract. So that's why I further requested this performance contract from Human Resource that I must go through and see, because he's refusing to go for vetting as a senior police officer. So I could not see his performance contract.
And ordinarily, their salaries and benefits, is that information that you would ordinarily have sight of or access to?
That is correct, Commissioner.
And in this case, you don't have?
I do not
Brigadier
have
Mkhwanazi.
Julius Mkhwanazi's information.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Chief Mapiyeye, at paragraph 70, you conclude that Brigadier Mkhwanazi was never recommended by the panel to this position and that you've never conferred the rank that he claims. Can I refer you to paragraph 24 on your statement? We're going back to page 8. And at page 8, at paragraph 24, you say, on 1 December 2023, Brigadier Mkhwanazi was purportedly appointed as the Deputy Chief of
Sorry,
Police.
SC, to interject, what page you are going to?
I'm page 8,
Page 8.
going back to in your statement, at paragraph 24.
I'm there.
Have you located? So I'm reading that paragraph that you state, on 1st December 2023, Brigadier Mkhwanazi was purportedly appointed as the Deputy Chief of Police, Operations and Specialized Services. I deal with this particular appointment below. You recall that you dealt with that aspect, and we considered your choice of wording that he was purportedly appointed. And yesterday you said that, no, I'll put it differently. Is it on the basis of the conclusion you draw at paragraph 70 that he was never recommended for appointment, that you never conferred the requisite rank on him, that you state at paragraph 24 that he was purportedly appointed, so you don't recognize his appointment? Is that the position you assume?
That is correct, SC, in the sense that, as I've cleared it up earlier, that the panel recommend, thereafter the process is taken by HR for further assessment, and then with that come back to the committee. Then the recommendation will then go back to the city manager for appointment.
Thank you. Now, if we may go back to page 21, which is where we're at before I took you back to paragraph 24. With the comments, the comment you have just made, we have completed your last chapter regarding Brigadier Mkhwanazi.
Can I just ask a question?
Absolutely, Commissioner.
Still in this chapter. Chief, the You report to the city manager, you've told us that. Now, did you inform the city manager about these irregularities? Did you report them to the city manager?
Commissioner, that is an HR function. HR knows exactly that people need to be sent, and thereafter, then she appoints, because she cannot appoint when she do not have all the necessary functions or information. The report which I've sent to Linda Kasheka requesting that information, I think I've CC'd the city manager as well.
When you say you think, is it because you're not sure?
I'm not sure.
Why are you not saying, I did copy the city manager? Why are you not being firm about it?
The report, I went through it, but I cannot confirm seated here that it was CC to the city manager. But there is that report to the city manager, to HR.
And did you report to HR or to the city manager that Brigadier Mkhwanazi refuses to be vetted for this very important position?
I've informed the city manager, where I had the letter of the 3 signatures of the 3 deputy chiefs of police, whom I was sending for vetting. All 3, they've signed a letter that they agree that they will go. Then Julius Mkhwanazi came back and sent me a WhatsApp that it is not in line with his condition of appointment. I then informed the city manager as well. Then she lambasted on me and said to me, why am I personal to Julius? Why do I want to send Julius to SSA for vetting and IPIT? I am sending him to my friends so that they can give a negative recommendation about him. This was not personally. I was just following the processes which I was, as the chief of police, to have done.
And to your knowledge, did the city manager instruct him to attend that vetting? Do you know anything about it?
I don't know whether she further instructed him, but I've instructed him, and I also informed the city manager about it.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Commissioner. May I ask you to turn your attention to page 21 of your statement, Chief? And we are moving on to the next chapter, starting at that page 21.
Ms. Sillo, before
Yes, Chief.
Chief Mapiyeye starts with his, I've noticed that it's a number of alleged crimes at various places. At face value, nothing seems, for example, to be linked to cartel or syndicate activities. So my mind started racing, and I asked myself to which term or terms of reference do these alleged criminal offenses relate? Apologies if I'm taking,
it's quite an honor.
I'm taking you by surprise.
Not at all, Chief.
Thank you.
I understand the question. This particular chapter and similar is informed by the very name of this commission. The issues that it covers, even if they are not specifically spelled out in such detail in the actual terms, is inferred in the purpose for this commission. And To our understanding, the commission is a judicial commission of inquiry into criminality, and that would be the criminality within specific institutions as are highlighted in the terms of reference. So the next paragraph, the next chapter, deals with that aspect of the terms of reference insofar as they've been found to exist, or it's alleged they exist, within the Metropolitan Police Department of Ekurhuleni.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Are you at page 21, Chief Mapiyeye, of your statement?
That is correct, SC.
And at that page 21, you then start a new chapter called Criminal Activities by Members of the EMPD.
That is correct, SC.
Can you take us through the contents of that chapter? On my reading, you reference 5 criminal cases, and we will deal with each one in turn. You have numbered them accordingly. So if you could start at your paragraph 71. Thank you.
Thank you, SC, Commissioners. On page 21, that is the criminal activities committed by members of EMPD. Number 71, some members of EMPD are under investigation for various serious crimes, including murders. These cases involves the criminal conduct of 3 members of EMPD, and they are from a former team which was called SWAT, which is headed by Brigadier Mkhwanazi. I will highlight some of these cases below, but Commissioner Spies, who is also going to give much more details on this case, he will speak much more on those 4 or 5 cases.
Thank you. That then brings us to your first case.
The first case, how we manage, Commissioner, to pick up these cases.
Apologies, before you do that, you have a heading in respect of that case. Let's just put that heading on record, and then you may proceed to address the commissioners in the manner you intended.
Case number 1, the case of theft, kidnapping, extortion, and defeating the ends of justice. That is case number 315-7-2022, which was opened in Benoni.
Thank you. You may then address the commissioners on what you wanted to say.
How we managed to pick up some of these cases, it was because of this blue light saga case. We had now to move to IPID in pursuant of this case of the blue light saga. When we were then at IPID, the executive head of IPID, she then indicated to us that you came with this blue light saga case. We've got a lot of other cases against your own members. So these are some of the cases which she then presented to us. At high level, she did not give us the statements by themselves because those cases were still being investigated by IPID. So as I've indicated that Mr. Spies will go much more in detail with those cases, but that was the first case. I don't know whether I must go to the second case.
Perhaps just you have 2 small paragraphs in respect of that particular case on your statement. If we could just dispose of that before we move to the next case.
Page 21, paragraph 73, the above case which I've spoken about now. This case involves the conduct of 3 officers. I will leave it at that, the 3 officers. Then Paragraph number 74. The 3 officers are alleged to have raided the Smoke and King supermarket, confiscated cigarettes worth of 29,000, thereafter kidnapped the manager of the store. They thereafter tendered 1 box of cigarettes to the Benoni police station, claiming they found it abandoned in the field.
Chief Mapiyeye, you indicated that the members involved in the cases that you'll be dealing with are all members of the EMPD, correct?
That is correct, SC.
You have, in identifying the first case, you have provided the case number in full. So there is a recorded case with the police against specific persons. Do you assume that the persons who are alleged to have committed these crimes in that docket, are you suggesting that their identities are not public and that they must be concealed?
I can be guided by the commission. The names I've got, but the details of those names, Commissioner Spies will also come and work on that area. He will be able to give.
I'm interested in the identity of the persons who are alleged to have committed these crimes.
The names?
Perhaps you have sought the commission's guidance, and because my suggestion is there is a specific case opened and a case number is provided, which means that the identities have become public for all intents and purposes. On what basis are you withholding the identities?
Perhaps let me, in the meantime, ask the question while you resolve this issue. Have these people been charged, to your knowledge?
Okay, Commissioner, when we went to IPIT, these are the cases which, as I will still go through them in detail, which were highlighted to us. I know that others, the processes has taken place, and others are still pending amongst these cases.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I leave it to the chair. I don't know if it's...
Does that answer the question? The question is a direct one. Are you aware if the alleged offenders have been criminally charged? Are there charges already or not?
The first one I spoke about, commissioners. Charges were laid and the process of disciplinary proceeding.
Leave out the disciplinary proceedings and the substance or essence of the question by Commissioner Baloyi concerns the issue that normally you do not divulge the details of a person before they have actually been charged. And that's about the person being charged criminally. It has nothing to do with disciplinary processes within or rather at the workplace. Do you get this now? So just focus on whether the people have been charged. Are there criminal charges? That's the point of substance.
Departmentally, they were charged.
No.
Criminally, I do not have the outcome whether the DPP finally decide to prosecute or not.
All right, no, thank you.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for that response. You do indicate that Commissioner Spies will deal with in more detail with the cases that you reference. So I will suggest that we reserve the question for Commissioner Spies. He might have the answer that the commissioners require and the answer to my question. He would know whether or not charges were laid against these perpetrators and what has since become of the criminal cases. So on that basis, I will accept that because you don't know, you do not then have to inadvertently disclose the names of people, identities of people in circumstances where you are not confident that they have appeared in court and charges laid against them formally. Okay.
Thank you, Asi.
Before my colleague Commissioner Baloyi asks another question, then you sought direction from us. The direction is that leave out the names. Thank you.
My question now is about the disciplinary process. You say that was instituted. What was the outcome?
Commissioners, one finally resigned during the process. 2 others are back in the system. I know that they were dismissed, but they are back in the system in the Metropolis.
And do you know the circumstances of them being back at work? Were they re-employed? Did they go to court to challenge their dismissals and reinstated? That's a question I'm asking.
I think, Commissioner, the details will be given by Commissioner Spies. I don't want to preempt on that one, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Commissioners. If we turn over leaf then at page 22, Chief Mapiyeye, you deal with your second case, and on the basis of the guidance you received from the commissioners, you may read the detail of that case, but without articulating the names of the alleged perpetrators. Thank you.
On page 22, the second case, it's case number 72 of 8/2022, which was a marathon theft, copper theft.
So apologies, Chief Mapiyeye, please read that correctly. You called it a...
Okay.
Please read it correctly.
Thanks, Essie. It's a marathon theft copper case.
Thank
Case
you.
number 72 of 8/2022. This case involves the conduct of 3 officers.
And this is the same 3 officers involved in the Pinoni case.
That is correct, Commissioner.
Thank you. Thank you. We won't go beyond the same. Other descriptor or description.
Please continue.
The third case.
No, Chief Mapiyeye, you haven't completed what this case is about. So you said the case involves the conduct of 3 officers. You may skip the names, but please indicate what the case itself is about.
This case, it alleges that the officers have robbed the premises of the complainant in Merton. Here, I don't have the details of exactly which was taken from there. So
Understood.
That is the case number.
Understood, accept. Thank you. You may proceed to the next.
The third case, Commissioners, is a murder case which took place in Brakpan, committed during April 2022. This case involves the death of a male in Brakpan and the subsequent disposal of his body in Nile Dam, where it was subsequently recovered by SAPS. Once again, the 3 officers were implicated in this case.
Chief Mapiyeye, this one you don't have a case number. It just says Brakpan. Is it, what does that mean? That you don't have a case number here?
It's very interesting, Commissioner, because even when we went to IPID, we were not given the case number, but with the further developments, I will believe that Commissioner Spies ought to have received now the case number of this case.
Thank you.
Please continue, Chief.
The fourth one is a Bedfontein truck theft under false pretenses. That is case number 86 of 2/2023. This case involves the conduct of two officers. It's the same officers whom were involved in the others, but this one, instead of them being three, here there were two of those same officers who were involved in this matter. It concerns a hijacking of a truck on the N12 highway and a theft of its load. That's the high-level summary I can give to that.
Thank you.
As I move to the
Please proceed
last
to
one.
the last one.
The next case is a theft of precious stones, impersonating Hawks police officers. That is case number 79703/2023, which took place in Hillbrow. This case involves the conduct of at least two of our officers. From the three, one was not part of that. I cannot confirm he was not part of it because he could have been there. But on the initial stage, I can confirm two. And also, yes, the two of them. This case was involve our officers gaining access to the complainant's property in Killarney, Johannesburg, under the false pretenses, claiming they were there to investigate lithium smuggling and then proceeding to rob him of 54 kg of certain semi-precious stones. It became...
Apologies, Chief. There is some words in parentheses at the end of that paragraph. I don't know if it's sagilite or
that is sugarlite stones.
Sugarlite, it's called sugarlite stones.
Yes.
Personally, do you know what kind of precious stones those are? Or?
Commissioners, I've seen a picture of those, but I'm not an expert in knowing exactly what kind of a stone is that, but I've seen a picture of those.
Okay, thank you. You may proceed.
Paragraph number 82, I became aware of this case when a letter of demand was served on me during August 2023 by the complainant's attorney advising of the intention to institute legal proceeding against the Minister of Police and EMPD, demanding payment of 45 million rands in damages. That is when I became aware of further development about this case. Paragraph number 83. A copy of this letter is attached, marked JM24.
If I may, Chief Mapiyeye, your JM24 that you reference in that paragraph, if you refer to the bigger file, the file of annexures, it appears at page 112. If I could have you open it, please. Have you located it? 112. And it's marked JM24, as you state in your program.
Excuse me, I've got it, SC.
Okay, then we can go back, deal with the contents of your paragraph 83, and to the extent necessary, you can cross-reference to the annexure. Thank you.
Page 23 on paragraph 83. A copy of this letter is attached, marked as JM24. Attached to the letter are still pictures of the accused members extracted from the house CCTV footages. In these pictures, the members are clearly identifiable. Unfortunately, I do not have access to the original letter with color pictures. IPID was, however, provided with a color photographs and have this in their docket.
And your JM24 has got annexures starting from page 117, which unfortunately are in black and white, and we cannot make out anything. Could you turn to 117? And it would take you up to page 122. Now, you state that the original letter had color pictures, and from those pictures, you could clearly identify the members of the EMPD who perpetrated this crime. Correct?
That is correct, SC.
But that the original and the color photos have been submitted to IPID.
That is correct, SC.
To the extent that you can recall, looking at the copies that we have, do you confirm that if we obtained the color photos that were submitted to you, we would draw the same conclusions? We would see what you want us to see, which we cannot on the current annexures because they're in black and white.
That is correct, SC.
Thank you. And now that is your fifth and last case that you gave example of.
That is correct, SC.
You may continue.
On paragraph 84, notwithstanding Brigadier Mkhwanazi's retain these members in his team, and they continue to operate as EMPD members. 85, the three members implicated in all these serious crimes are part of Brigadier Mkhwanazi's Specialized Services Unit, including Officer...
Don't say the name,
The
please.
name I just keep at the time of the commission of these crimes that has since resigned from the service. On paragraph 86, as Commissioner Spies will elaborate further during his testimony, the disciplinary processes initiated against these members were continuously frustrated internally, and their service weapons Investigative Directorate Act 1 of 2011, the IPID Act, Section 28 of IPID Act prescribed that IPID must investigate.
And then you proceed to extract directly from Section 28 to enumerate the type of matters that that IPID is required to investigate. And you confirm that what you list there is taken directly from Section 28 of the IPID Act.
Any death in the...
Chief Mapiyeye, after you say Section 28 of the IPID Act prescribes that IPID must investigate, you see the rest of what is in that paragraph is in italics. Do you see that?
That is correct, SC.
My question to you is, do you confirm that what is in italics you have extracted directly from Section 28 of the IPID Act?
That is correct, SC.
So those are not exactly your words. You took them out of the Act.
That is correct, SC.
If that is so, I am suggesting that it is not important to read out and go through every detail of what Section 28 provides.
Thank you, SC.
I will then invite you to turn the page to page 25 and paragraph 88, and which then deals with the substance of your testimony. Thank you.
On page 25, paragraph 88, the IPD Act, until it was amended in 2024, it did not apply to members of the Municipal Police Service. During 2021, IPD, SAPS, and the various municipal police services concluded a memorandum of understanding in terms of the municipal police services will be subject to the IPID Act. I have attached a marked JM25, a copy of the memorandum concluded with EMPD.
And that memorandum, you've marked JM25, appears in the big file at page 123. And just for read the heading of that memorandum, it's called Memorandum of Understanding Regarding Cooperation between the Independent Police Investigative Directorate, IPID, the South African Police Service, SAPS, and Municipal Metropolitan Police Services, MPS, to comply with the Independent Police Investigative Directorate Act 2011, Act 1 of 2011. Do you so confirm?
That is correct, SC.
And you indicate at your paragraph 88 that it is in terms of this memorandum that the EMPD as Metropolitan Police Service is subjected to the power of IPID in terms of the Act.
That
it extended those powers.
That is correct, SC.
I would like to invite you to look at the same document at page 147. In fact, I think let's start at 145.
I've got it, SC.
At page 145, it's a document titled Certificate of Approval and Undertaking to Comply and Adhere to the MOU. You see that?
I can see that, SC.
And at the bottom, it appears to be signed at Pretoria, IPID office on the 18th of February 2021. And there's a signature above the provision for signature by an executive director, IPID.
That is correct, SC.
If you turn over, lift to page 146, it's a similar document, but at the bottom, it seems to be it's signed by somebody else. General National Commissioner, South African Police Service, KJ Sitole, in brackets SOEG, and it is dated Pretoria, the 9th of March, 2021.
That is correct, SC.
And then if we turn over leaf, at page 147, that too is a similar certificate with, and this is at the bottom, signed by the chief executive, and then it says in brackets, parentheses, name of Metropolitan Council. It's got a stamp, M.I. Mashazi, and then it's got a signature next to that stamp. And that seems to have been executed on the 22nd day of November 2021, correct?
That is correct, SC.
Now, the chief executive officer there, at the bottom, it doesn't indicate that is the chief executive officer of the Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Police Department. That we find in the same document, in the body of that document, where there is provision for the specific Metropolitan Police Department to fill in the detail on signature of this memorandum of understanding. And that tells us that this was executed by M.I. Mashazi on behalf of EMPD, Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Police Department. Do you confirm?
That is correct, SC.
Now, your pages 148, 149, 150, and all the way to 155 are similar certificates intended to be signed by different officials, but are unsigned. The first being the Chief Executive Officer for the relevant Metropolitan Council. But that certificate is not concluded and it's not signed. You see that?
That is correct, SC.
And that...
Okay, Selok, is it not because Ekurhuleni only keeps its copy? So Johannesburg would have its own copy, which is signed by the CEO of the Joburg Metro.
Thank you, Commissioner Khumalo, for reading my mind. And that was the point to be made, that insofar as Ekurhuleni is concerned, all the necessary signatories have executed this document and have signed it. Thank you. Okay, now that we have acquainted ourselves with the MOU, and we understand from your paragraph 88 the effect of that MOU, I ask you to revert then to your statement at page 25, and we deal with your testimony from paragraph 89.
Thank you, SC. Page 25, paragraph 89. From November 2021, therefore, IPID investigates all conduct of members of EMPD that falls within the terms of Section 28 of the IPID Act.
Please continue.
Paragraph 90, IPID is currently seized with at least 9 investigations in respect of Ekurhuleni involving crime committed by members of EMPD as far back as 2022. Unfortunately, and for reasons that are not clear, IPID has not able to progress these matters to the stage of prosecution. Paragraph number 91, the majority, if not all, of these matters are being investigated by a gentleman in IPID Act. I've reserved the name for now.
Please don't. That's a public official who's executing his duty. Thank you.
The majority, if not all, of these matters are being investigated by Thulani Makakula at IPID. Paragraph number 92. I, on numerous occasions, raised concerns with the Executive Director of IPID, Ms. Ntlanseng, regarding the conduct of the IPID investigator, Mr. Makakula. In particular, regarding his persiveness and close relationship with Brigadier Mkhwanazi, as well as victimization of myself and the witnesses in these cases. The lack of progress in IPD investigation was also a source of concern. I continuously sought a meeting with the head of IPID to address these matters.
You continue at page 26 from paragraph 93.
Yes, SC.
Please proceed, Chief.
On page 26, 93, paragraph 93, I attach WhatsApp communications between myself and Ms. Madlanga over a period of from the 5th of March 2023 to 11th September 2024. On these matters marked MJ26, these efforts yielded no results. Paragraph number 94. On 26 January 2024, I addressed a letter to Ms. Madlanga requesting a meeting, the purpose of which was to discuss interference in ongoing matters by Mr. Makakula. I attach a copy of that letter marked JM27.
On that annexure, it's to be found at page 174 of the big file. Have you located it?
I've got it, SC.
JM27 appears to, as you state in your paragraph, to be a letter addressed to Ms. DJ Madlanga, Executive Director, EMPD, and it states on its face, from IJ Mapiyeye, Municipal Police Commissioner, Chief of Police, EMPD. And at the bottom, it's got provision for signature by IG Mapiyeye, Municipal Police Commissioner, Chief of Police, EMPD. Do you confirm all that?
That is correct, SC.
There is a signature appearing above the line where your name, IJ Mapiyeye, appears. Is that your signature?
That's my signature, SC.
This letter is dated the 26th of January 2024. And could you read it's a brief letter, relatively, and can I invite you to read the contents of this letter into the record? Thank you.
The heading, request for meeting, interference in ongoing cases, matters, EMPD. Dear ED, I need to bring the following matters under your attention. During 2023, I personally reported to you that one of your investigators, Mr. Makakula, reported in person to the city manager of the city of Ekurhuleni, Dr. Imogen Mashazi, that myself and the Deputy Commissioner Spies are the people who are pushing the IPID investigation into J. Mkhwanazi's case. EMPD, while nothing could be further from the truth. Paragraph number 2, it is a known fact that IPID has various investigations and cases still pending against J. Mkhwanazi, which some are not concluded yet. It has come to my attention that Mr. Makakula have had numerous meetings with J. Mkhwanazi on sidelines at Boxback EMPD precinct. Last meeting between them was on Friday, the 19th of January 2024. I, as the Chief of Police and Head of Metro Police, have not been informed or have any knowledge of these meetings, and also do not receive any progress feedback on existing matters. The engagement of Makakula and Mr. J. Mkhwanazi has got the potential of jeopardizing the cases against Mr. Mkhwanazi. I therefore request a meeting with you whereby we can discuss this matter further and a way forward on handling this. Your considered noting is appreciated. Then I append my signature there.
Thank you, Chief. This letter is dated the 26th of January 2024. And you specifically in this letter, having raised the concerns that you had as the Chief of Police EMPD, requested a meeting with the Executive Director of IPID. Two questions. Did the Executive Director furnish you with any written response to this letter?
There was no written response, SC, but we had a telephonic engagement, myself with her,
Yes.
where we then discussed the involvement of this gentleman, Makakula. And then she promised me and indicated that she is going to remove him from the investigation in the Eastern Region side.
Yes. Now, the letter is dated 26 January 2024. Would you have a recollection as to when you had this telephonic conversation with the Executive Director of IPID firstly, and who was the initiator of that telephone conversation? Was it yourself or was it the Executive Director of IPID?
She called me after I've sent this letter to her.
And would you recall how much after you had sent the letter, or I know it's January 24, so you might not have a recollection, but did you consider that she had delayed in calling you, or as you remember things, was it a relatively immediate response to your letter?
It was not long after I've sent this letter to her that she called me.
Now, you say in that conversation she undertook to address the challenges you have raised in the letter? Did you say that?
That is correct, SC.
And secondly, that she undertook to replace Mr. Magagula as the investigator for the Eastern Region?
That is correct, SC.
I appreciate that you were suspended in September 2024. Prior to your suspension, are you aware of her delivery of the second promise in particular of replacing the investigator responsible for the Eastern Region?
SC, I will concur that she finally definitely sent someone to take over, especially this case of the Blue Light Saga. I think it was a captain from KZN, the surname is Pulu, who then took over these responsibilities in the Eastern Region.
You say particularly in respect of the Blue Light Saga. So the replacement of the investigator was only in relation to that particular case, is that what you're suggesting? And not in respect of all the cases that you have referred to, particularly those that involve criminal conduct by members of the EMPD?
That I cannot confirm, SC, whether the others were still under Mr. Makakula or they were then also taken over by Kulu.
And perhaps just to quickly refer you to the EMPD report and to find, it's JM19. And your JM19 should be in the big file from page 101.
I've got it, SC.
And the signature page of that report is 103.
got it.
And I see the first signature there as attached above the name of Mr. W.M. Kulu, designation Special Investigator, IPID NSIT. And he appended his signature on the 1st of September, 2023.
I could see that, SC.
Okay, now, you indicated that the executive director of IPID responded to your request, at least by replacing the investigator in the blue light matter. I point out to you, however, that Mr. Kulu signed that report in 2023 already in September. And your letter that we're dealing with at page 174 to the executive director was issued only on the 26th of January, 2024. Do you see that?
I see that and I understand it.
So would I be correct to say the involvement of Investigator Kulu in the blue light matter was not pursuant to your raising your concerns with the executive director? You raised the concerns after that investigator got involved?
That is correct, SC.
Okay. I then go back. Please go ahead. My apologies.
Must I also clarify this, SC?
Please do. I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Kulu came even earlier, and then when this blue light saga started, then he left the province back to KZN. And then upon further engagement with myself and the ED, he came back again, Kulu, because in his absence, Mr. Makakula was then dealing with these matters as well.
For the record, the name is Ulu, X-U-L-U, and Chief Mapiyeye says Ulu, which is Q-U-L-U. So the correct spelling is X-U-L-U. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
This is important for the transcription.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chair. I'm tempted to say that it's the Sotho group, the function of the Sotho group pronunciation that has the chief pronounce the name that way.
Yes.
But the correction is noted.
In fact, what I just said is inaccurate. When I say it's important for the transcription, it's also important for the person involved. Thank you.
Most importantly, yes. And thank you, Chair, for that correction and duly noted. So then, the discussion we're having is that Investigator Kulu got involved in the blue light matter as an investigator before you raised your concerns at Annexure JM27 with the Executive Director of IPID.
That is correct, SC.
So his involvement did not arise as a result of the concerns you had expressed on the 26th of January 2024. It's completely unrelated. So you had explained that he had been involved, and if I understood you well, then he left the jurisdiction of Gauteng, went to KZN to live there, and I think you were suggesting that he subsequently came back. You recall that?
That is correct, SC.
Now, you had wanted to provide some clarification, having highlighted his movements in the manner that you did, I think before the Chair corrected the proper pronunciation of Investigator Kulu's name. So I invite you to state what you wanted, or to provide the clarification you had indicated you wanted to give. Thank you.
Thanks, SC. Commissioners, this gentleman, let me pronounce it properly, Kulu, he is working, according to my information, he is deployed in the KZN area. But he came specifically to come and assist with this blue light saga story. At some stage, he then went back where he came from. In that vacuum, it's when as well, Magagula was then in the picture. Until then, I forwarded as well the complaint to the ED of IPID.
Okay. As I did indicate, the letter is January 2024. You were suspended in September 2024. And we put aside how the case of the blue lights was dealt with by Inspector Kulu. Your testimony speaks of, or there are complaints leveled against the investigator, Mr. Magagula, who was handling other matters, as you have touched on in your statement, referred to IPID. My question to you, do you know if he was replaced on those matters before your suspension in September 24? Do you know or you don't know?
I wouldn't confirm that, SC, because there were other activities which also took place, or other arrests which took place in my absentia. So I wouldn't know who are the officers from IPID who are dealing with those cases currently.
Thank you for that clarification. Let's get back then to your statement. We are at page 28, and we now move on to paragraph 103.
May I just take, sorry,
yes,
can I just take you back to paragraph 92? And it's 5, paragraph 92, and I just want to make sure that I'm reading the paragraph correctly. You state in that paragraph your discussions or your concerns that you raised with Ms. Ntatseng of IPID. And then and one of them is the perceived close relationship of Mr. Magagula with Mr. Mkhwanazi. And then this is the part you say, as well as victimization of myself and witness. Who are you saying, or who was victimizing you and the witness? It's not clear to me whether it's Mr. Magagula or it's Mr. Mkhwanazi in the way that this is written.
The victimization from myself, I think there is an area where I'm still going to address it in detail, Commissioner. But my witnesses who were dealing with this matter, because IPID cannot work in silos, they have to come to EMPD, Metro Police, to get the relevant information. All the members who were involved in assisting IPID with that investigation, they were dealt with by the city.
So you're not alleging that Mr. Magagula was victimizing you and witnesses. That's what I wanted to clarify.
That is correct, Chair.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. At paragraph 93, Chief, you introduce a series of WhatsApp messages, and you have those attached as Annex JM26. Do you see that?
I could see that.
At the time you dealt with the contents of that paragraph, we did not have specific regard to the WhatsApp messages. In light of the question posed to you by Commissioner Baloyi, may I invite us to go to JM26, which may potentially have a more complete answer to the Commissioner's question. It is flagged JM26, and in terms of page numbering, it would start at page 168. Have you located the annexure?
I've got it, SC.
And this will go to page 173 from 168. Do you see that?
I could see that, SC.
So in all those pages, these appears to be, should I say, screenshots of WhatsApp communication between two telephones. Do you confirm?
That is correct, SC.
At the top of each page, it's got, it reflects the wording Jennifer iPad.
That is correct, SC.
What is that? What is meant by Jennifer iPad?
That's how I've saved her number on my phone.
Okay. Now, the communications as are reflected, some are in green and some are in white. Just to orientate us, when they are in green, who is the speaker? And when they're in white, who then is the speaker?
Commissioners, when they are in green, it's myself. When they are in white, it's HOD or ED.
Executive Director.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, just looking at them from page 168 to 170, the first date entry is 29 August 2024. In fact, I think is it 29 August 2024?
That's correct. I see 29 August 2024.
I correct myself. I called it the first entry, but the first page reflects the date of 29 August. As I go through the pages to 170, I realize that they seem to have been filed in historical order, in descending order. So the first page is not the first communication. It actually is the last communication.
That is correct. I see, if I may assist your commission, that I think the first communication WhatsApp, it will be right at the end. This page on 168, it could be, it is the latest.
Yes. So the first communication actually starts at page 173.
That is correct, SC.
And that is dated the 5th of March 2023.
That is correct, SC.
Okay. Perhaps just, I see that the first, you appear, you said green are your communications, you appear to be the initiator of this conversation.
That is correct, SC.
Can you just read the first green portion at page 173 that you posted on the 5th of March 2023?
I said, hi, Executive HOD. My name is Jabulani Mapiyeye, Chief of Police in Ekurhuleni. Could I please come to your office tomorrow, if available? I have got a pressing matter to discuss and be advised by yourself, please. Thereafter, she responded.
Yes. And I see she responded positively, advising she will call, and then on the 6th of March, she provides the venue.
The 6th of March, good day, sir. The venue is Rodeport SAPS Station, Commander's Boardroom, 4th floor.
Yes. Then you respond to that.
My response, I will be there with my second in charge. Then she responded, I will be there with my senior team and Magagula.
For the record, is that the meeting you earlier referenced between EMPD and IPID, where you were going to discuss the issue of the blue lights, and you ended up with a report from IPID about the criminal cases that IPID is handling concerning members of the EMPD? Is that the meeting?
That is correct, SC.
Okay. Then working backwards onto the file, now go to page 172. And on this page, perhaps just to highlight the first message in green, which is your message.
That is correct, SC.
Please read that.
Morning, ED. It has been a while not communicating. I'm currently on leave, going back to work next week. Could I kindly have a meeting with your good self next week, please, regarding the challenges I am having with witnesses who are being victimized with regard to Mkhwanazi's case.
And then if we go to page 171.
Before that, just for clarity on the timing,
Oh, yes.
the last text or chat at page 173 was on the 7th of March, 2023, and the one you've just read in which you say that it's been a while not communicating, that's on the 16th of May, 2024. The one you've just read was on the 16th of May, 2024. That's just for the record. You confirm, though, that that is so.
That is correct, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner, and that is correct, because if you have regard to page 173, the last communication, according to that date stamp, appears to have been on the 7th of March, 2023. The message you just read is dated the 16th of May, 2024. So there was about more than a year of no communication between yourself and the Executive Director of IPID.
That is correct, Commissioner.
So technically, the question of victimization of witnesses, at least insofar as these WhatsApp messages are concerned, you introduced for the first time, it would appear in May 2024. Am I correct?
That is correct, Commissioner.
Then,
Just for the record,
Yes.
Advocate Silo, because these WhatsApp screenshots are not in sequence, 170 and 171 are 2023 WhatsApps. So
you are quite correct.
in between, there would have been even 169. You see that this November 2023.
In fact, I think it is page 172 that is out of sync. So if we take out page 172, it actually should, then the rest follow, because that page, time-wise and date-wise, ought to be the page 169. So it's actually the first, if you look at the the date stamp. So it is that particular page 172 that is filed wrong. It's in the wrong place. Because if we apply the logic of reading from the last page coming forward, then the dates follow sequentially.
So on my reading, the last communication before 16 May 2024 is that 19 November on page 169.
That is correct.
Yes.
That is correct.
May our files be corrected then, please?
Yes, no, we will.
Thank
It was the ordering of the pages,
Yes,
I think that.
yes.
But just to move the one page for the record, 172, to locate it in its proper place in the file. And that will affect, then, will just be a change of numbering
Yes,
on
yes.
successive pages.
Thank you, thank you.
And if I could just then quickly deal with your current page.
Or perhaps let's take the break before you move on to that and resume at 11:15. Let's adjourn.
And we'll take the opportunity to correct the pages. Thank you. 4th of, for the record, I don't recall now, if I may I just backtrack to page 172? There's a particular email, because of the confusion in page numbering, I'm not sure, WhatsApp that I'm not sure that I dealt with. But specifically, it's his WhatsApp message dated the 16th of May, 2024. Did I do that? If I dealt with it, I apologize for the repetition. We did.
Page 172.
The one at page 172. Yes. Commissioner Khumalo assures me that we dealt with that.
Yes, in 169.
Yes, it does.
At the bottom.
At the
of
bottom.
page.
And that we dealt with. Okay, then I invite you to page 168. And this now is a message, according to this document, you sent to the executive director on the 4th of September 2024. It's the first on that page. Do you see that?
That is correct, SC.
Can you read that message into the record?
The one which was on the 4th of September 2024.
Yes.
Good afternoon, ED. Could we kindly secure an urgent meeting between me and your good selves, even on Teams? It's not about my case, which is making headlines. It's about our EMPD outstanding cases.
Thank you. To the question then that Commissioner Baloyi had asked about who was being intimidated, and about witnesses being intimidated and by who, we went through the WhatsApp chats in a bid to provide an answer to that question, which I trust we have. Commissioner Baloyi, does that?
Yes.
Thank you.
With that. Thank you, Mr.
Chief Mapiyeye, then, at page 26 of your statement now, the small file. We are at paragraph 95.
I've got it, SC.
That's a concluding paragraph on this subject that we are dealing with. If you could deal with the contents of paragraph 95.
Thank you, SC. Page 26, paragraph 95. On the 6th of March 2023, we held a meeting with IPID, which I attended with inter alia Commissioner Spies. At this meeting, IPID had given us a report on all cases then under investigation by whom involving members of EMPD. A total of 7 criminal cases were being investigated at the time of this meeting. No progress, but for the blue light case, has been achieved in these cases. Instead, 1 more case have been added to the list. One involving extortion, kidnapping, and theft in Boksburg by 6 officers from the Drug Enforcement Unit, reporting to Brigadier Dion Singh, who in turn reports to Brigadier Mkhwanazi.
And was that the state of affairs at the date that you were suspended on the 25th of September 2024? Was that where things stood?
Except the recent one, which is added, that 1 more case that has been added to the list. One involving extortion, kidnapping, and theft in Boksburg by 6 officers from the Drug Enforcement Unit. This is recent, as I was already on suspension, so it was not there.
Also now, what you're saying is you've since become aware of an added case
that is
to
correct,
the IPID cases you discussed with the executive director. And this is the case you reference of extortion, kidnapping, and theft in Boksburg. But the point you make is that that case arose after your suspension in September 2024.
That is correct, SC.
Thank you, duly noted. That then concludes that chapter of referrals of matters, EMPD matters to IPID. We move still on then page.
Before you move
Yes,
on,
thank you.
I thought the substance of Ms. Silo's question, but she will correct me. I thought the substance of her question was whether, as at the time you were suspended, the lack of progress endured all the way right up to when you were suspended, leaving aside the question of the addition of a new matter, but the lack of progress on the investigation of those matters endured throughout.
That's correct, Chair, and I thought you had answered, but please specifically address yourself to the question as reposed by the Chair.
Oh, yeah, I just heard him talk about the additional case and I didn't.
I think he was trying to draw a distinction,
Yes.
because the two facts are set out in the same paragraph.
Yes.
Please
Can
address
you
the question
directly, please. Thank you.
without reference to this extra case.
Thank you, Commissioner. Until such time that I was then sent on suspension, that was the state of the cases.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. We move then, Chief Mapiyeye, to your next topic, which you term attempts to discipline Brigadier Mkhwanazi, and you deal with this from page 26 of your statement, the small file.
I'm on page 26, SC.
You start at paragraph 96 with a statement that all your attempts to discipline Brigadier Mkhwanazi were frustrated, right?
That is correct, SC.
Please tell the commissioners about your attempts to discipline Brigadier Mkhwanazi and how the attempts to so discipline him, you contend, were frustrated.
Thank you, Commissioners. On page 26, paragraph 96, all my attempts to discipline Brigadier Mkhwanazi were frustrated by the city manager, Dr. Emoji Mashazi, the HOD Human Resource, that is Linda Plasheka, and HOD Legal Services, that is Advocate Bihare. In fact, these attempts led me to be suspended on numerous occasions, culminating in disciplinary charges for alleged sexual harassment being leveled against me in November 2024.
Please proceed.
On page 27, paragraph 97, on the 24th of February, Brigadier Mkhwanazi was placed on suspension with this case of the blue light salga. On the 3rd of March 2023, and based on the outcome of our internal investigation, I determined that the misconduct complaint, it was of a serious nature. I attached Annexure JM28, a copy of that determination. On 23rd March 2023, I requested that disciplinary tribunal be established. This was approved on the 12th of April 2023.
Can you just clarify which misconduct are you referring to? And the reason I'm asking is the IPD report is dated October, November 2023. And here we are in February, March 2023. So I just want to understand which misconduct you are referring to in this paragraph.
Thank you, Commissioner. We don't have investigative powers as Metro Police, but we've got an internal affairs which deals with our internal investigation with regards to the misconduct of officers or employees in the Metro Police. So that process has taken its course already, whilst the other process went to IPD where they finally as well liaise with the NPA.
Are you saying it was the same issue?
That is correct, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Khumalo. Please proceed.
And I'm sorry,
Yes.
and when you say this was approved, that is your determination that misconduct proceedings be initiated. So when you say this was approved on 12 April 2023, who approved?
Chief Mapiyeye, through you, Chair, before you respond, you reference a document there, JM28.
Okay.
Perhaps if you go to JM28, you will be better able to pointedly respond to the chairperson's question and in part also answer the question posed by Commissioner Khumalo. In the big file at page 176, is this JM28, which you call a copy, which you call your determination that the misconduct complaint of was a serious nature. Do you see that?
I've got it, SC.
Okay, the question posed to you is, you state at paragraph 97 that this was approved, your request to establish a disciplinary tribunal, and that this was approved on the 12th of April 2023. The chair wants to know who approved.
Thank you, SC. Commissioners, as I've indicated that we've got our internal process, I approve that. Thereafter, it goes to labor relations, who then take the process forward with regard to disciplinary proceedings.
In regard to this JM28, if you start at page 175, I see that it is addressed to DH Employee Relations ex Mliza.
That is,
it would
correct,
appear
SC.
to be from you.
That is
Chief
correct,
Mapiyeye.
SC.
The heading is request for disciplinary tribunal.
That is correct, SC.
That is the request for the establishment of a disciplinary tribunal that you reference at paragraph 97.
That is correct, SC.
Overleaf at page 176. It starts with a recommendation that appears to be signed by you, and you have indicated that you are requesting the establishment of a disciplinary tribunal.
That is correct, SC.
It appears it was intended to be recommended by Human Resources. It's not completed, that section. But at the bottom, under the heading Approval DH Employee Relations, there is a signature and a date. Could you state who signed there and what the effect of that signature is?
This was signed, that is page 176. It was signed on the 12th of April 2023 by the Divisional Head Employee Relations.
And is that the person to whom the request was made?
That is correct, SC.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, that clarifies it.
Then after it was approved, you move on to what happened from your page 98. Sorry, your paragraph 98. Please deal with that.
On page 27,
Apologies, Chief. I think Commissioner Baloyi has a question.
Yeah, still on that document, I think when you started, Ms. Silo, you had said it may partly answer also the question from Commissioner Khumalo, which I was interested in, and this is about the charges that were listed. Should those not be mentioned to the record?
Oh,
At page 175.
yes, it was. Perhaps we could, Commissioner Khumalo had tried to understand the relation between the determination he seems to have, Chief Mapiyeye made, to the IPID report, which comes at a later date, I think, end of 2023.
Okay.
And this, where Chief Mapiyeye indicated that the determination that he references at paragraph 97 concerns internal processes of the EMPD.
Okay.
And perhaps I could inquire from Commissioner Khumalo whether that
Well-
answers the query that the Commissioner had.
My query was answered. I think what concerned me was some of the allegations leveled against Brigadier Mkhwanazi. Some of them related to the memoranda, the two memoranda we dealt with yesterday, and the state of the city address in
Indeed.
2022, and various other things. So looking at paragraph 97 in the statement, where Chief says, I determined that the misconduct complained of was of a serious nature. It was not clear to me whether he's referring to the issue of the blue lights or the use of cat protection services and the two memoranda that were concluded in 2022. So
I'm clarified, and yes, that specificity is missing. So perhaps Chief Mapiyeye, with reference to JM 28, you indicate the nature of alleged misconduct. Firstly, please specify which misconduct in particular does this document apply to, and then read into the record the nature of the alleged misconduct as you held on that date of the 24th of February 2023. So let's answer the first question. You had Commissioner Khumalo reminded that the number of complaints that you previously raised, including this state of the city address issues, the blue light saga, the conclusion of, or the deployment of CAT VIP services. So just so we are clear, the determination you made in February 24th of February, 3rd of March 2023, in relation to which incident does that determination apply?
Thank you, SC. Commissioners, this started from the incident of the blue light saga. That is where the issues of misconduct will then be directed to the department to do that investigation. It also includes the issues of operational plans, which was altered, and the deployment, which it didn't follow procedures. So it is on page 176 on the main file, on the big file, those alleged misconduct.
You mean page 175?
175,
And perhaps...
right at the bottom.
Yes, and maybe Chief read those into the record where the charges were.
Allegations to fail to perform his duties.
Sorry, Chief, before you do, there is a heading
Yes.
that perhaps you should start with, and then you read what you have set out in that box.
The nature of alleged misconduct attached relevant documents. So there were relevant documents which were attached, but the first one was allegations of fail to perform his duties diligently and to the best of his ability. The next one was allegation of gross dishonesty. The next one was gross negligence. The next one was allegation of conduct relating to honesty and integrity. The last one was bringing SEO and EMPD into disrepute.
Please read the last one. Again, I think you misread.
Bringing COE
Yes.
and EMPD into disrepute.
Thank you. You had read it as CEO. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Baloyi.
I think maybe for the record, page 180 answers my question. Because it's quite clear from paragraph 2 of page 180 what is the misconduct referred to,
Yes.
which led to the suspension.
I agree with you, Commissioner Khumalo, and we will note, but perhaps it's a document you have also included, but you deal with it in your later paragraphs. We will get to it, and you will deal specifically with this annexure. So you don't have to address it now, lest we confuse ourselves, if that's okay, Chief Mapiyeye.
Thank you.
Are you okay with that? Okay. That then takes us to your paragraph 98 at page 27.
Page 27, paragraph 98. A prosecutor was appointed and 6 charges were drawn against Brigadier Mkhwanazi in terms of the Disciplinary Procedure Collective Agreement, Circular 1 of 2018. A disciplinary hearing must be held within 3 months of the decision to institute proceedings. Paragraph number 99, there were delays in receiving the charge sheet on Brigadier Mkhwanazi. On 24th of May, 2023, Ms. Tsasheka, the HOD, HR, uplifted Brigadier Mkhwanazi's suspension with immediate effect and directed him to resume duty. In paragraph 100, upon his return, I deployed him to EMPD Operations by Law Enforcement Unit until the disciplinary case is finalized. In light of the serious charges he faced, I considered his return to his substantive post undesirable. I attach a copy of this redeployment letter marked J29. On paragraph 101, on the 15th of June 2023, HOD Human Resource Linda Kashega challenged my decision by deploying Brigadier Mkhwanazi, and she directed that he be deployed back to his substantive position. A letter of this is attached and marked J30. I responded to this letter on the 20th of June 2023, advising Ms. Kasheka that I, as the Chief of Police, had the power in terms of Section 64C of the SEPS Act to transfer members of the service in the EMPD, and a copy of this letter is attached, marked JM31.
Yes.
Paragraph 101, 102, on the 21st of June 2023, and the following discussion initiated by Ms. Kasheka and Advocate HOD Biare, HOD Legal Services, I was pressurized to hand over the docket relating to Brigadier Mkhwanazi to Advocate Bihare, who is the head of Legal Corporate. This I did as per my memorandum to Advocate Bihare, dated the 21st of June, 2023, a copy of which is attached and marked JM32.
On that score, if then I could invite you to page 180 of the big file. That is the document that Commissioner Khumalo referred to previously, and I said you will get to as you work through your statement. Commissioner Khumalo, perhaps then, with reference to this annexure, you may make your comments or pose the question to the witness.
Chief, in paragraph 97 of your statement, you said on 3 March 2023, and based on the outcomes of internal investigations, I determined that the misconduct complained of was of a serious nature. So my question was, which misconduct are you referring to in your statement? And based on the document that we see on page 180, it appears that the misconduct referred to is the one relating to the use of blue lights, because you say in paragraph 2 of your letter, on 2 February 2023, allegations of very serious misconduct, and I emphasize the words very serious misconduct, were received from the media, and then there was a subsequent internal investigation. Would that be a fair summary of what you had in mind in paragraph 97 of your statement?
That is correct, Commissioner.
Thank
that is
you.
correct.
Thank you.
Can I just check that though? If you look at that letter, and I'm just checking if what you have just agreed to is correct. If you look at that same letter, in the next paragraph, the third paragraph, you say the investigation revealed prima facie evidence, and the docket was scrutinized and signed off by me as Chief of Police. The officer was formally suspended on the 24th for a period of 3 months. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, my understanding of your evidence is that the suspension was not just for the blue lights issue. It was, you suspended him for the misconduct that we've just looked at page 175, where the tribunal was approved. Am I misunderstanding your evidence, Chief?
That is correct, Commissioner, but in the process, there is also the investigation which then needs to take place, including the blue light story, because once we have received that media communication, there is further investigation which then need to take place, which will include the blue light issues as well.
Chief Mapiyeye, may I pose this question perhaps for clarity? When you say media inquiry, what specifically, are you talking about the communication forwarded by the journalist, Mr. Jeff Wicks, around the blue light, the use of blue lights? Is that what you are referencing?
That is correct, SC.
To your recollection, did he reference any other alleged misconduct besides what we just colloquially call the blue light saga?
On that media clip, Commissioners, there were other issues which were also raised. The receiving of donation and the registration of vehicles, which we needed to identify immediately after we received that query from the media. There were vehicles which, when you test it on the system, it will indicate that it is an EMPD vehicle, but utilized by an external someone.
Okay.
So it was a mixture of all those kind of issues and allegations which we needed to investigate.
So then, would my understanding be correct that this whole process was triggered by an inquiry into the use of blue lights, but then it was beyond just the use of blue lights and involved other misconduct? Am I correct?
That is exactly correct, SC.
And when you requested the establishment of a disciplinary tribunal, it was for purposes of investigating all these complaints and the different misconducts, not just the use of blue lights. Am I correct?
That is correct, SC.
And so when he was suspended, as you state in your statement, it was for all these incidents of misconduct.
That is correct, SC, because as I've indicated even yesterday, that when he submitted his statement, the initial statement to the acting chief by then, who was Commissioner Spies, he implicated himself on a lot of other issues which we spoke about yesterday.
Yes.
Perhaps, Ms. Sillo, on the focus of the journalist's questions, we should look at the annexure itself and not just rely on the chief's recollection. I'm by no means impugning your recollection, Chief.
Absolutely.
Yes. Please guide us. Which annexure is it?
I will find it now. Chief, what we are doing, the chair would like you to address yourself to these issues with reference specifically to the inquiry as was received from the journalist. You understand? So I'm going to locate that annexure, and I will request that you answer all questions with reference to that annexure. I think you did not annex the actual inquiry from.
Is it?
There,
oh,
there.
So it was.
And
it was,
here
oh,
is,
yes.
if we have regard to paragraph 39 of his statement, he says, during or about February 2023, the EMPD received an inquiry from a journalist, Mr. Jeff Wicks, regarding the use of blue lights in civilian vehicles with the seeming approval of the EMPD. At the time of this inquiry, I was on leave, and the Deputy Chief of Police Auxiliary and Support Services, Commissioner Rivo Spies, who was appointed the acting chief of police in my absence, took charge of this inquiry and initiated investigations into the allegations. So this was handled by Commissioner Spies, and at 42, Chief Mapiyeye then says, upon my return from leave, Commissioner Spies made a report to me on this matter, advising that flowing from his investigations, he had referred the matter to Internal Affairs Unit in the Compliance Division, as well as to IPID. So that's as far as he takes it. Commissioner Spies, I can confirm, deals with this in more detail, providing the annexures.
I seem to recall seeing the...
It's from reading the other statement.
That's
yes.
From reading...
Indeed. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
So we confirm that you didn't annex to your papers the actual inquiry received from the journalist. So we will not be taking you there. You are, what we are currently dealing with are the steps you took after you had received a report from Commissioner Spies, who had handled the entire investigation in your absence while he was acting chief of police. Is that correct?
That is correct, SC.
Okay. So we were still at page 180, and that is your annexure JM 33. And that is the letter that you had written to Advocate K. Bihari, HOD Corporate Legal Services, and Ms. Kasheka, the HOD Human Resources. You recall that?
That's correct, I recall, SC.
And you had testified that the disciplinary tribunal you had requested be established was in respect of various misconducts that had been unearthed in the course of internal investigations against Brigadier Mkhwanazi.
That is correct, SC.
And that they were not restricted to the use of blue lights.
That is correct, SC.
So, and I think that then, I think is a complete answer to the clarification that Commissioner Khumalo sought. But staying with the same annexure, I would like you to turn to page 181. And you do recall that at paragraph 99, if you could go there at page 27, you indicated that there were delays in serving the charge sheet on Brigadier Mkhwanazi. You remember that part?
That is correct, SC.
Now, with reference then to Annexure JM33, that starts at 180, but specifically at 181, kindly read from the three paragraphs after you quote section 711. The first paragraph would start with the words, taking into consideration. You see that?
I could see that, SC.
If you could read the remainder of the letter into the record.
Taking into consideration of the above stipulation, it means that the charge sheets must be served on or before the 22nd of June 2023. This delay is of great concern as the alleged misconduct was exposed by the media, a very senior officer involved, and if is of such a serious nature that it will permanently damage not only the reputation of EMPD, but also of the city of Ekurhuleni, should the postponement of serving the charge sheets be furthermore postponed. A perception is also created that the officer involved and the very serious misconduct exposed are being protected and swept under the carpet. For your considered noting, agent attention and way forward is appreciated. Thank you. That's regards signed by myself.
Having introduced this annexure JM32, going back to your statement then at 103, you deal with what transpired next. Firstly, was there a response, most importantly, a written response to your letter that is marked JM32 that we have just dealt with, dated the 21st of June 2023? Was there a written response from the addressees, both Advocate K. Behari and Ms. L. Kasheka, who were the people to whom we had addressed this letter? Did any one of them respond?
I didn't see anything on the bundle, but I've came across a document where Kemi Behari responded the following day that he needs a meeting with the ED of IPID and myself in order to address issues of protocols, that when documents are delivered in the city, they must also via the city manager's office. That is what is drafted and sent to the ED IPID. That was the only response. He did not respond directly on what I've raised here.
Okay, now let's get this clear. You say you haven't provided us with that document, so it's not part of your bundle.
That's correct.
It's a document you subsequently have been able to locate.
That is correct, yes.
Would you be able to furnish us with that document? Later, doesn't have to be now.
Later I can do that, SC.
Based on what I'm going to raise, to the extent that it is relevant, then you'll give us a copy. We will update the files and we'll include it in the bundles. But my question is, I haven't seen the document you referenced, so I'm relying on your understanding of its contents. Do you understand that letter from Advocate Behari to be a specific response to your letter at page 150 dated the 21st of June 2023, the letter we have just looked at, was it a response to this letter or was it raising other issues?
He was raising other issues.
Okay.
It was not in response to what I've raised to him.
Okay.
On the letter.
Then I will not be adding that annexure because it's not dealing with this specific letter. I take note of what you have said. To the extent that it may be necessary to add it on other issues, I shall do so at that juncture. But for the moment, my question is, did any of the two, Advocate Bihari and Mr. Shega, respond to you after receipt of this specific letter at page 180, the letter of the 21st of June, 2023?
That is not the only follow-up instruction I've received. It was from the city manager that same day, on the 22nd, that I must withdraw my internal investigation processes.
Bear with me for a second, Chief Mapiyeye. We will then deal with what happens next.
Okay.
I'm still at my question. Did Advocate Bihari and or Mr. Shega in writing respond to your letter? Please look at your letter at page 180, the one of the 21st of June 2023. Did you ever receive a response from any of the two?
I did not receive any
Thank you.
response from both of them.
Thank you. Turning then to your statement at page 28. Yes.
Before you do this, sorry, Ms. Elu. That letter at page 180, the very last paragraph, Chief, it reads, the appointed presiding officer compiled 6 charges after perusing the investigation docket. And then so that's at 180 in your letter. If you go back to page 175, that document where you were requesting a constitution of a tribunal, you've got a list of 5 charges or allegations that he would be required to respond to. But here in your letter you say 6. Is it because the charge sheet had 6? And can we get a copy of the charge sheet?
If the Commissioner can please repeat the question.
Okay, so at 180?
Page 180.
Yes, of that big bundle, the letter that you've just been looking at now to Advocate Behari.
I've got it, Commissioner.
If you go to the very last paragraph on that page, which reads the appointed presenting officer, you see where I am?
I could see, Commissioner.
Okay, and then it reads the presenting officer compiled 6 charges after perusing the investigation docket. You see where I'm reading?
That's correct, Commissioner.
Now, just don't close that page. Keep your finger there and then go back to 175. It's your request for a disciplinary tribunal at page 175.
That
And
is
then
correct,
there's a
Commissioner.
list there of the charges, of the alleged misconduct rather. And it's 5 items. You see where I'm reading?
I could see, Commissioner.
Yes, the question I'm asking is, your letter speaks of 6 charges that are now in the discipline, that were prepared by the presenting officer. You can either get a copy of that or you can tell us what were those 6 charges.
Okay, Commissioner, on page 175,
Yes.
when this report was then sent to Labor Relations, they will appoint a tribunal presenting officer who will then go through, and if there's a need, there could be other charges which were added.
Yes.
That is why on page 180 there's now another charge which is 6
Okay.
charges.
And do you remember offhand what that additional charge was?
I wouldn't say as seated here, Chair, but those charges, they are, whether they're in the bundles or not, but they are there, those charges, the 6 charges.
There's a charge sheet somewhere.
There's a charge sheet somewhere.
All right, thank you.
May I try and assist? Chief Mapiyeye, you are correct. There's a charge sheet somewhere, and that charge sheet lies in a witness's bundle. So there will be a witness who will be dealing specifically with these issues, and that is where the charge sheet is attached. And we will address the issues at that juncture, if I may request.
Thank you, Ms. Hill.
Thank you. So I do confirm, Chief Mapiyeye, that the charge sheet will, be presented before the Commission in due course, but not necessarily through you, because you were not involved in that aspect of things, formulating the charges and the like. Are you happy with that?
Noted, SC.
Thank you. I refer us then to page 28 of your statement. We are now at paragraph 103, and from paragraph 103 you deal with what happened subsequent to your issue of the letter of the 21st of June 2023 to Advocate Bihari and to Mr. Sheka. Just to orientate us. You issued the letter, you confirmed that neither responded to your letter. So from paragraph 103, you then state what subsequently transpired. Can you deal with that?
On page 28, 103, I was also instructed to withdraw charges against Brigadier Mkhwanazi. I addressed a letter to Brigadier Mkhwanazi advising that I had taken a decision to withdraw the internal investigation process and redeploy him to his substantive position. The effect of this letter was not to withdraw the disciplinary processes. In fact, it was deliberately meaningless, as it purported to withdraw an internal investigation which at the time had been completed and on the basis of which charges had been formulated. This I did in a bid to stop the consistent harassment I was facing from the city manager and the 2 head of departments. In fact, therefore, the disciplinary process has not been withdrawn. I attach a copy of the letter marked JM33.
May I invite us then to JM33, which is in your big bundle from page 182. And according to, as you locate it, according to what you state in your paragraph 103, this is a letter you addressed to Brigadier Mkhwanazi after you had been instructed to do so.
That is correct, SC.
Before we get into the content of the letter, you say I was instructed to withdraw the charges against Brigadier Mkhwanazi. Who instructed you to withdraw those charges?
I was instructed by the city manager, Dr. Imogen Mashazi.
How did she instruct you? Did she write you a note to instruct you? Was it verbal? Could you tell the commissioners under what circumstances that instruction was issued to you?
She instructed me verbally. She did not put it in writing.
And that is what led to you to produce the letter to Brigadier Mkhwanazi?
That is correct.
That is then at page 182, according to your statement, that's marked JM33.
That is correct, SC.
It's a fairly short letter. Could you quickly read it into the record? For the record, it's dated the 22nd of June, 2023. And once again, for the record, it is signed at the bottom. Is that your signature?
That is correct, SC.
It is addressed to J. Mkhwanazi, Director, Specialized Services, EMPD, copying G. Mzolo, Deputy Chief of Police, EMPD, and Dr. I. Mashazi, City Manager, COE.
That is correct, SC.
If you could, and the subject matter is disciplinary matter. J. Mkhwanazi and then you give his pay details and how he's identified in the system. Could you read into the record the body of that letter?
On the 2nd of February 2023, allegations of a serious, very serious misconduct were received from the media query from News 24 journalists, Mr. Jeff Weeks, which implicated yourself and was subsequently investigated by the Internal Affairs Section, EMPD. To date, the matter has not been concluded. I, as the Municipal Police Commissioner, have taken a decision to withdraw the internal investigation process under the case number 0302-2023 and herewith redeploy you back to your substantive position of Director Specialized Services as from 26 June 2023. Hoping you find this in order, then I'll append my signature.
And in your paragraph 103, you indicate that you use the words, and I quote, I quote, withdraw the internal investigation process. And you have testified and you have in your statement that you used those words deliberately and that they are meaningless because the actual investigation process had been concluded. Is that correct? So the use of the words withdrawal of internal investigation processes was deliberate on your part?
That was correct, SC.
Did it?
Chief, I'm sorry.
Yes, it's Chair.
Chief, is that not an after-the-fact rationalization or justification? I'm asking this because what did you think the understanding of the readers of the letter would be? Would they not understand that you are basically saying that everything now has come to an end, you are withdrawing everything? Would that not be the reading of, would that not be the objective reading?
To me, not, Commissioner, in the sense that the investigation, our internal investigation, has already been concluded and charge sheets have already been drawn by labor relations and the people whom they were appointed to deal with the matter.
Tell me, or please continue, I'm sorry.
And I received an instruction that I must withdraw my internal investigations, of which I did do that letter.
Please tell me why you think a reader would have understood what you meant, what you subjectively meant.
Commissioner, after receiving the instruction that I must withdraw my internal processes, because the IPID personnel, always when they come to the department to do further inquiries, they will link up with the internal affairs unit to get much more information. And by then, our process, our internal processes, we have already concluded. It was already at a stage where it has been handed over to the tribunal where they have already prepared drawing up the charges. But because of the pressure and the harassment I was getting with regard to this case specifically, I felt that it was appropriate for me to also partially show that I am listening to that instruction, which didn't carry, in fact, any good weight in the case itself.
And how did you expect matters to unfold from that point onwards? That is, after you had written this letter. Did you expect anybody to continue with the prosecution of the disciplinary matter?
Chair, the powers with regard to disciplinary proceedings in the city, it was delegated to a divisional head, labor relations. The one who then appointed even the tribunal itself. The two other colleagues, which is Kemi Bihare and Linda Kashega, they came in this matter. Meanwhile, by then, it was not even delegated that they can handle this matters. They only came in the picture when it was only this case of Mr. Mkhwanazi. All other employees, we followed the process to the latter, where labor relations will do the rest with the appointment until the case is finalized. So this, out of all the employees in the city, this was the only matter which people have now to come in who were not delegated by then to do that. I think the labor relation expert, once he comes in here, he will be able to address that bridge, that gap, which I'm not maybe giving it 100% to the commission.
Yes. Let me perhaps ask my question differently. In the face of your letter, did you expect the prosecution of the matter, that is the disciplinary proceedings, did you expect those to continue?
Commissioners, I expected the matter to continue. Even after that letter, I further requested further engagement as well with the ED of IPID.
And did you think the readers of your letter would understand you to expect the proceedings to continue?
I expected that, Commissioner, in the sense that I was specific that I'm not saying the case must collapse and there shall no further proceeding with that case.
Let me say this to you. Coming in cold, there is someone like me who knew nothing about the background, and reading your letter, I would understand your letter to be killing the entire DC process, or to be bringing the entire DC process to an end. Do you wish to comment on that?
I will disagree with that, Commissioner, that I was specific that I am withdrawing our internal investigation processes, which is the team I was heading. I wouldn't know what another reader can come with a certain conclusion, but I don't dispute what also the Commissioner is raising to me.
Thank you, Chief Mapiyeye.
Thank you, Chair.
Chief, Ms. Leiter.
Yes, Commissioner Mole.
Chief, it's a follow-up on this question. The city manager gives an instruction to you. You say the instruction was to withdraw the charges. Realistically, could employee relations proceed with this disciplinary action in the light of that kind of instruction? If they become aware of it, that the city manager has instructed you to withdraw the charges, could employee relations realistically proceed with the disciplinary hearing?
Thanks, Commissioner. The instruction, I think the city manager, she's aware of who is responsible of drawing even the charges and the stage where that case was. She could have even instructed labor relations, the person who is in charge of drawing those charges, to withdraw. But all what I was told is that I must withdraw my internal investigations, whilst labor relations has already advanced themselves with even preparing the charges and appointing the disciplinary tribunal.
Well, your statement says the instruction was to withdraw the charges, not the investigation. You've drawn a distinction between the charges and the investigation and explained that's how you wrote your letter intentionally. But the instruction, according to you, in paragraph 103, was that you should withdraw the charges. So my question is based on what you say, that now there's an instruction from the boss of the institution to you. Employee relations becomes aware of it. Could they proceed with this decision? Even if you wished for it to continue, could employee relations continue with this disciplinary hearing now that the CEO has issued an instruction?
Regardless whether the instruction was issued to withdraw the case, technically I did not accede to that. Facing all the harassment I was going through and how I then worded my letter of the withdrawal of my internal investigation.
All right, and then, okay. Chief, when the city manager gave you the instruction to withdraw the charges, did she say why? Did she give you reasons for that instruction?
She told me that myself and the divisional head labor relations, we must stop to be personal to Julius Mkhwanazi. So of which there is no issues of personality here, it's just issues of principle and police principle and discipline. I cannot be found being selective in implementing discipline in my own department.
So other than saying to you, you must stop being personal, you and the employee relations manager, other than that, she did not give you a reason why this disciplinary charges must be discontinued?
She did not.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Chief, I'm not concerned with interpretation. Chair asked you about interpretation of the letter. We are now looking backwards. We're looking back 2 years. Factually, what happened? After you issued this letter, factually, did the city continue with the charges against Brigadier Mkhwanazi?
After the issuance of this letter?
Yes.
I think the divisional head labor relations will then be better placed to explain the immediate processes which took place thereafter. Because charge sheets were supposed to be delivered to Julius Mkhwanazi. I wouldn't have the dates, but the divisional labor relations will address that.
I think maybe let's leave it there for now.
Thank you, commissioners. and before we leave that issue, I'm going to ask perhaps what is might be considered an unfair question, and I must say it's a technical question. So if it is too technical and doesn't fall particularly within your area of expertise, please indicate. In your experience, in the EMPD particularly, once you have requested the establishment of a disciplinary tribunal and you have articulated the misconduct that you think an employee should be subjected thereto, you await an approval for the establishment of that tribunal? Do you, or do you depart from the premise that it will be established? So what you term your request for the establishment of a disciplinary tribunal, is it subject to somebody's approval? Can your request be turned down?
The appointment of a tribunal is delegated to the divisional head of labor relations and human resource.
Okay, now with reference to page 175, your annexure 28, and that is your request for disciplinary tribunal. Are you there?
That is correct.
And that document, it does state that an accusation of misconduct is brought in terms of the disciplinary procedure against, and then you provide the details. It then requires you to lay out the nature of the alleged misconduct and overlift. It then requires you to make a choice between a departmental inquiry and a disciplinary tribunal.
That is correct, SC.
Here you make your choice and you say you are requesting for the establishment of a disciplinary tribunal. It then has space for the senior manager employee relations to, I guess, express themselves or a recommendation to human resources. And then lastly, that is the approval step. Once your request for the establishment of a disciplinary tribunal has been upheld, what power would you have over what that tribunal next does? Do you know whether, you might not have confronted such a situation previously and you wouldn't know, I accept that, but do you hand over the case to the tribunal, or do you still retain some powers over what that tribunal does? Would you know? In terms of policy within the EMPD and perhaps the law, which I wouldn't necessarily expect you to be quite au fait with. Are you able to give us an indication, or are these matters you'd suggest we take up with somebody from employee relations?
Once the determination has been made from the department, which was on that page 176,
yes,
where I have requested for establishment of a disciplinary tribunal, that docket is immediately handed over to labor relations. It could happen with labor relations that they pick up other issues which they feel that we cannot proceed with the case. So they will always talk to me, but this was not the case. They receive it, then they started their process to appoint.
And you indicated that they established a tribunal, and I think they appointed a prosecutor and they prepared the charges.
That is correct, Chair.
At that juncture, who owns that process? And I use that word very loosely.
That is labor relations delegated to the divisional head.
Would you have authority to interfere with that process, to direct it, or to achieve a particular outcome, in your understanding?
I wouldn't have an influence on that process.
Okay. Thank you. I would then turn us to your paragraph 104. And you deal with a different matter here. We're at a point where you have issued the letter to Brigadier Mkhwanazi in telling him that you have taken a decision to, quote unquote, withdraw internal investigation processes. You then turn to, at 104, to a a later incident of the 15th of August 20.
The city manager, that myself and Brigadier Spies, Commissioner Spies, she has been told we are the ones that we are the ones who are pushing this case discipline from IPID side that Julius must be prosecuted. And if I continue, my name Commissioner Spies and Commissioner Spies will be handed over to the hitmen. She mentioned a person called Mswati. But regardless, it didn't scare me because I did not know even this Mswati is. So that's where I spoke about issues of intimidation in the past. I'm okay, but I'm okay to then move to 104.
Before you do so, then if I
Was this at a meeting, or how did the CEO or the city manager communicate this to you and Commissioner Spies?
Commissioner Spies was not with me. I was just with her when she told me that she has learned that it's myself and Commissioner Spies who are persuading this matter of Julius Mkhwanazi. So, well, I even relayed this on the same day to Spies as well, because I wanted him now to also take precautionary measures wherever he could be traveling.
Subsequent to that, did you receive any threats, you personally?
Not directly, but one cannot confirm because where I reside, I've got cameras in my house. I have picked up certain vehicles which I cannot say I'm linking them with this case. So I never received any direct threat. But maybe I will also be able to address this at a later stage, because the HOD or ED IPID, she has assisted us in getting the relevant people to come and do threat assessment around myself, because she said she needs to do threat assessment around my life, and Revo Spies and Mr. Ngqiza and Kilebukhile Tepa, who is also one of the witnesses who will be coming forward. So she assigned a team who came to do threat assessment.
Well, thank you. I'm asking this in the context of what one has read in the statement of Commissioner Spies, but I will leave it there. We will hear more from Commissioner Spies on this. That is the question of threats.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Chief, this conversation you referred to with the city manager, was it before or after you had been instructed to withdraw the charges, the disciplinary charges?
It was before, Commissioners.
Okay, thank you.
Can't remember just the date, but it was before.
All right. And then in the spirit of the chair of corrections, you said Ngqiza. I now know it's Ngqiza. And I'm told I should spell it for the record, Ngqiza, N-C-I-Z-A.
That is correct, Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioners. Commissioner Baloyi, for a second there, I thought we were talking about the Chair of Correctional Services, and I didn't understand where exactly it fits in, but I think I now understand who you meant. Chief Mapiyeye, you've just testified that the city manager threatened you. And if I understood you correctly, you said to call a hitman on you. Can you restate that? And then you gave a name that you say she mentioned.
She indicated that she will hand over, that was the name she utilized.
Yes.
She will hand over myself and Mr. Niza to the hitmen and quoted Mr. Mswazi.
And you indicated that at the time you didn't know who that was.
I really didn't worry. In my heart, I said, let it be.
My question is, did you know who she was talking about when she said Mr. Mswazi?
I did not know who this Mr. Mswazi was.
That was in 2023. Between then and now, have you since learnt who that Mr. Mswazi is or was?
I happened to learn at a later stage who
How?
Mr. Mswazi was.
When and how?
I was with a colleague somewhere in Kempton Park who, whilst we were having a breakfast, me and him, this colleague, he told me that he is going to a memorial service of a gentleman so-called Mswazi, Msibi Mswazi. That's when I've asked this colleague, who is this Mswazi? Then he then explained to me that he's one of the hitmen in the country, having some whether taxi businesses, but that's the information what he gave me.
Okay. And still, you remained unmoved.
That's correct.
Okay. You informed the commissioners of what the city manager allegedly said to you when she issued the instruction to withdraw the charges against Mr. Mkhwanazi, Brigadier Mkhwanazi. And you said that she alleged that you and Commissioner Spies are the main drivers behind these charges and you just want to persecute Brigadier Mkhwanazi. In summary, I'm paraphrasing. Did I understand you correctly?
That is correct, SC.
Okay. Now, we've dealt with this document before, but if I could take us back to Annexure 27 at paragraph 174. You remember this document, it's the letter you wrote to the executive director of IPID.
That is on page 20?
174 of the big file.
174.
Of the big file, apologies.
I've got it, SC.
We have dealt with this document before when we were having a discussion around engagements and referrals to IPID, you recall?
That is correct, SC.
Okay. It's that letter then, as I said, you wrote to the executive director, IPID, dated the 26th of January 2024. And this technically is 6 months after you, quote unquote, withdrew the investigative process. Is that right?
That's correct, SC.
Please read into the record paragraph 1, numbered 1 of that letter.
During 2023, I personally reported to you that one of your investigators, Mr. Makakula, reported in person to the city manager of COE, Dr. Mashazi, that myself and Deputy Commissioner Spies are the people who are pushing the IPID investigation into J. Mkhwanazi, EMPD, while nothing could be further from the truth.
So you indicate that in 2023, and you tell the executive director, IPED, or you remind her that in 2023 you personally told her that Mr. Magagula said to the city manager that you two are personally pushing this issue of disciplinary charges against Mr. Mkhwanazi.
That is correct, SC.
And this you recount to her in January 2024.
That is correct, SC.
And today you say that is precisely what Dr. Mashazi had actually said to you in or around June 2023 when she instructed you to withdraw those charges.
SC, if I will add to the commission, how this came about, she personally told me that the investigator from IPED was in her office, who told her that I'm the one and Mrs. Peace who's pushing this case. There's no case here. Whilst they were seated, the two of them in the office, I happened to call this Mr. Magagula. Then he took the phone and showed her that, you see what I'm telling you? Here's the chief of police is busy calling me. So she related that message to me after they had that incident, that I'm the one who was pushing, because this gentleman came and I happened to phone to this Magagula, and Magagula showed her that what I'm telling you, these are the people who are troubling me. Here's the proof.
Thank you. Once again, then I invite us back to paragraph 103. We are about to move over to that incident of the 15th of August 2023, and you had requested to make some comments regarding the disciplinary process against Mr. Mkhwanazi. So we've just completed that now. You're satisfied you've covered everything you wanted to cover?
That is correct, SC.
Thank you. Then back to your page 28, paragraph 104, as I indicated, this is an incident you say happened on the 15th of August 2023. Do you see, that's how the paragraph starts. Do you see where I'm reading?
Okay, 104, yes, I can see, SC.
So can you relate then the incidents of that day to the commissioners and deal with what you set out in the succeeding paragraphs? Thank you.
On page 28, 104, paragraph 104, on the 15th of August, I delivered to the city manager the letter of intent to institute proceedings regarding the precious stones theft allegedly committed by members of EMPD who were reporting directly to Brigadier Mkhwanazi. When I delivered it to her, she challenged me on the fact that the letter does not make any reference to Brigadier Mkhwanazi, and neither does he appears in the attached pictures. She suggested that I was persecuting Brigadier Mkhwanazi, and I was biased towards him and treated to suspend me with immediate effect. She immediately corrected herself and told me that she was actually suspending me with immediate effect.
Please proceed.
On the 17th of August, 2023, the city manager called a meeting at which she claimed the department was dysfunctional, and having at the conclusion of which she stated that she had decided that I shall take special leave with immediate effect so that I can clear my head, rest, and come back neutral with no bias. I was placed on leave on the 30th, for 30 days leave.
Now, with regard to what you stated, paragraph 105, you have the words in quotation marks. You say she stated that she had decided that you should take special leave with immediate effect so that you, Chief Mapiyeye, quote, can clear your head, rest, and come back neutral with no bias, end of quote. What did she mean by that? What does that phrase mean, or those words? Or perhaps put differently, is there anything of significance that had transpired before that would perhaps help us better understand what those words mean?
I think it's very important, Essie, that when I came to deliver, the morning of the day I went to deliver, it's on the dates here, when I came to deliver the letter of demand which was served by the sheriff of the court to my office, it included the case we spoke about the precious stones of 45 million. It was then brought to my office by a sheriff of the court.
Yes, and that is the letter that with the pictures that we dealt with before, and you said the matter was since taken up by IPID.
That is correct.
Correct.
I took that letter, I went to the city manager and said, ma'am, I've just received another complaint. This is the complaint I've received. Our officers, they went beyond our area of jurisdiction into Joburg. They have robbed someone about these precious stones. Now the sheriff of the court has delivered this document to me. There were pictures of our officers on that document. Could clearly see that it were our officers. So when I was addressing her with that report, I showed her that these are our officers. She then said to me, let me see. Then she paged. She couldn't see Julius' name or picture on that document. She said to me, where's Julius' picture here? I said, ma'am, these officers, they report to Julius. I'm just highlighting that to you. She then said to me, I told you that you are personal to Julius. Where's Julius' pictures here? If I can listen to stories about you, I can even suspend you with immediate effect so that you can feel what Julius is feeling. In fact, I'm suspending you with immediate effect. I then requested that can't you please allow me to go and clear my office until Friday? She agreed on that it's fine, you will go home on Friday. Subsequent to that is then the meeting of the 17th of August, 2023. When we arrived at this meeting, she had called my management team. From what I have observed and I've seen, my subordinates, they've communicated earlier about this meeting of the 17th. They had an insight of what is going to happen because there were WhatsApp which were flying. I didn't come to the attention of that WhatsApp, but there were WhatsApps. We were called into that meeting. There are minutes which were noted. We took our own minutes, but I don't know whether they are in this bundle.
No, I'll confirm you don't have any minutes in your bundle. Did you personally take what you call minutes?
I made notes, but Commissioner Spies took the minutes.
Okay.
And
no, then if the minutes were not taken by you, they would not be here. Thank you.
Immediately after the conclusion of that meeting on the 17th of August, She asked everyone in that meeting, she said, the department is in dysfunctional. I want to know what is happening because there's no productivity and people are investigating each other. Then Brigadier Julius started, Mkhwanazi, and stated to her, ma'am, we have got no chief of police here. I don't respect this man. I don't know whether I must salute him or not. He went on saying that he came to my office and waited for me for 8 hours. I did not attend to him. But all those are in those minutes which were taken by Spies. From there, he indicated certain individuals. He said, Commissioner Spies, he is a de facto chief of police in my department. Mr. Ekurhuleni Metro is also one of the de facto chief in my department. He mentioned the staff officer, that is Ivan Duplessis, who gives instruction in the department. He mentioned Kilebuhile Tepa, who is our media officer. At the end of the meeting, while other directors or brigadiers, they made their comments that no, we're having challenges of uniform, petty other issues. But once the meeting was concluded, she then said, regardless of all what I've listened here, I'm sending you on special leave with immediate effect for 30 days. That was on the 17th of August.
And you say, at what, it was at the time she told you she's sending on special leave for 30 days, she stated that so that you can clear your head, rest and come back neutral with no bias. It came at the end of that meeting you're suggesting.
She did not state that on the 17th of August. This was stated a day later. I think the letter I've received of special leave, it was on the 18th, the following day.
Okay.
Here she concluded that she is sending me on special leave with immediate effect in front of my subordinate, which I was so embarrassed. I have got protectors. Immediately when we leave the meeting, some junior members of mine, especially Brigadier Mkhwanazi, called and said, no, those protectors must be taken away. So
okay.
It was done right in the mid when we concluded that meeting. At the conclusion of that meeting, Brigadier Mkhwanazi circulated a WhatsApp to subordinate or officers of Metro Police that the chief of police has been sent on special leave. Now the person who will be acting, it will be Deputy Chief Mzolo and the city manager. Now it's time that we must pick up the pieces and address the stature. That was his WhatsApp to EMPD officials.
But as you say, it's not a WhatsApp you received.
I came across that WhatsApp, the one he has sent to officers after that meeting.
Do you have a copy of that WhatsApp? Were you able to lay your hands on it even thereafter?
I've got a copy of that WhatsApp because I even sent that WhatsApp back to my boss, the city manager, that this to me was uncalled for, that officers can disrespect me in her presence, right in front of her presence, and even the power to send messages to my subordinate, all officers in the city.
Okay. All right. So then, as of the 17th of August, or a day later, you were on special leave.
That is correct, I see.
Sorry, Mr. Law, maybe before you proceed,
yes.
just one question. In that meeting of the 17th, where you say Brigadier Mkhwanazi said he doesn't even know whether he should salute you. We don't have a chief of police. Did the city manager reprimand him? Or say anything that sounded like a reprimand to what on the face of it appears like gross insubordination?
Commissioner, that was my concern. He was never reprimanded in front of my juniors as well. And those minutes we took, I think we managed to forward them to the office of the SC, but he was not reprimanded.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Sorry, maybe another question, sorry. It's one paragraph back where you take this letter, paragraph 104, where you are taking this letter of demand of intent to institute proceedings at paragraph 104. You say you take it to the city manager, and this is where he says you've got something personal against Brigadier Mkhwanazi. Did the city manager dispute that the people in the picture, you say there were pictures, did she dispute that those people report to Brigadier Mkhwanazi?
She did not dispute that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. You make conclusions in paragraph 106 after you have narrated all that transpired prior to and on the day of your being placed on special leave. So could you deal with paragraphs 106 and 107?
Paragraph 106 on page 29, there was a clear and deliberate decision by the city manager and the HOD, HR, not to prosecute Brigadier Mkhwanazi for these transgressions. On the contrary, concerted efforts to protect him were made. On 107, Advocate Bihare, as HOD Legal Services, appointed a firm to conduct an investigation into whistleblower allegations made against inter alia Brigadier Mkhwanazi, which were published in the press. Advocate Bihare appointed an entity called the forensic firm to conduct this investigation. The investigation report dated 20 June 2024 is attached, mark JM 34.
You deal then at paragraphs 108 to 110 with some of the conclusions that report drew, but you don't expound on them. In light of the fact that another witness will come deal in more detail with the detail of that report, may I suggest that we don't deal with what you state from 108 to 110, because you do reference the paragraph numbers in the report. And when the right witness comes, they will cover that part of your evidence, or the evidence you would have tendered otherwise in their absence. Is that acceptable to you?
Thank you, SC. I appreciate that.
That would take us to your paragraph 111 at page 13. If you could read that into the record.
On page 30, 111, as a result, to date, the IPD recommendation that Brigadier Mkhwanazi be disciplined has not been given effect to.
As a matter of interest, what's your understanding? You receive an IPD report with a recommendation. In this case, institute disciplinary proceedings against a specific member of the service. Who is to give effect to that recommendation in the context of the EMPD? Would it be yourself? Would it be his direct superior, the city manager, employee relations? Are you able to assist us with that?
SC, could I please request and correct myself on page 30, 111.
Yes.
Because the statement there state that as a result, to date, the IPD recommendation that Brigadier Mkhwanazi be disciplined has not been given effect to. I think the word to date, it might be incorrect for me because I'm not at work.
Okay.
So my last time when I left work was on the 25th of September, 2024. So I do not know what then happened from the 25th of September.
That's an important correction. You are correct, and I appreciate that.
Is it fair to say subsequent to the IPD report, Brigadier Mkhwanazi was in fact promoted to the position of Deputy Chief of Police? Because when the IPD report was sent to you, he was not Deputy Chief of Police. He became Chief of Police in December of 2023, which is a month or two after you received the IPD report.
That is correct, Commissioner. But can I please respond to the question? Could I get it very clear from the SC again?
Yes, sir.
The one I've disturbed you whilst you were asking?
No. We'll revert Commissioner Khumalo. I had said the correction you are making to your statement is very important, and it's noted, Julian, it's on the record. Your statement had read, as a result, to date, the IPD recommendation that Brigadier Mkhwanazi be disciplined has not been given effect to. You wanted to highlight that you cannot really speak about what transpired since your day of suspension. So you can't use the term to date, because it could have been instituted after the 24th of September 2024, which is your suspension date.
That is correct.
We have corrected that, and the record will show that correction, that what you intend to express is that as a result, until 25th September 2024, which is your date of suspension, the IPD recommendation that Brigadier Mkhwanazi be disciplined had not been given effect to. That's as far as you can take it.
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you. Now, what Commissioner Khumalo highlights to you, makes a comment that it would appear that at least up until your date of suspension, not only were the recommendations not given effect to, in fact, Brigadier Mkhwanazi was promoted to Deputy Chief. That's what he wanted to engage you on. And he stated that because as at the date of the IPD report being served on EMPD, he was still in his previous position and he was not a deputy chief. This was prior to December, the 1st of December 2023, which you say is the date that you learn he was sort of made deputy chief. Is that correct?
He was appointed on the 1st of December 2023. That's correct.
And by then, the IPD report was in hand. It had been served. Or that is the date you are struggling with, sir?
I know that the IPD report was there already.
Yes, and that is the point that
Yes.
the commissioner is making.
Yes.
So he's saying not only was the IPD recommendation not acted upon, at least up until you were then placed on suspension. In that period, instead, he actually was promoted to a higher rank. And he wanted to invite your comment on that. Do you agree with that statement?
I agree with that statement that
Okay.
when I came back after my 30 days, that was in 2023, then Brigadier Mkhwanazi was then appointed on the 1st of December 2023
Okay,
as a deputy chief.
thank you. Chair.
Chief Mapiyeye, now that we are at this point, let me raise with you, but I do not know if you'll be able to assist, issues relating to documents that we were going to ask for right at the end. Are you aware of any letter of appointment which promoted Brigadier Mkhwanazi? Or
Commissioner,
in terms of which Brigadier Mkhwanazi was promoted? A letter, something written.
Commissioner, I've indicated earlier that I haven't seen that appointment letter.
Then perhaps, in fact, what I was saying we were going to raise right at the end would have been directed more to you than to the Chief, Ms. Sildo. That is, maybe let me just raise all of them at this stage.
Perhaps, may I respond to this one?
Yes,
Because
yes.
my response to whatever the documents you raise might differ. I do confirm that I think in his testimony, Chief Mapiyeye indicated that he's never seen such a letter. Our undertaking is we will go back to our witnesses to determine firstly whether such letter exists, and secondly to find the right witness through whom to introduce that document. Thank you.
Thank you. And also correspondence relating to Brigadier Mkhwanazi's vetting or lack thereof, please.
Correspondence relating to Advocate Mkhwanazi's vetting.
Brigadier. Yes. With that too, you'll see who to introduce it, or rather, who the witness to introduce it should be. And then the files relating to the disciplinary processes relating to the employees, I think it was 2, who were terminated but later re-employed. We would like to see that as well.
Chair, perhaps it's the end of the week and it's been a long week. Could the chair assist in identifying?
Yes. There were 2, I hope I'm correct with the number, 2 officers, EMPD officers, who were subjected to DC processes and terminated, but who were later re-employed.
Can I just check with the witness, because
Yes.
the 2 I understand were on suspension, and then they were brought back. And
From
the
suspension.
witness from
Yes.
suspension, and the witness said they were allocated to different functions, but it was instead insisted that they go back to their substantive positions. So I don't know if those are the 2 witnesses we're talking about, or whether, or those are the ones.
Yes, those are the ones.
Okay.
Yes.
Then,
I just pray that the files are not too bulky, but we just want to get an idea of what happened there.
Yes, there is a witness to speak to that. We'll just have to ensure that they produce the right documents. Yes,
Thank
Chair.
you. Thank you.
Ms. Lo, perhaps we may want to correct. You can put it to. You can decide how you put it to the chief. You have, I think, following on Commissioner Kumalo's last question, you put it. It was put as a fact that Brigadier Mkhwanazi was promoted on the 1st of December. I've lost that paragraph here, but what the witness said was that he next saw Brigadier Mkhwanazi the first week of December, and this time he was wearing the insignia. I think that's what it was called.
Yes.
That's all he says. He didn't say that he was promoted on the 1st of December. And to the extent that the proposition that is being made is that he was promoted following, a date after the IPID report, which is not acted upon, I think we do need to be sure that that is factually accurate.
I will pose the question to the witness, but before I do
Yes.
so, Commissioner, if I may refer you to paragraph 24 of
Okay.
the statement at page 8.
Okay?
That's where Chief Mapiyeye says, on 1st December 23, Brigadier Mkhwanazi was purportedly appointed to Deputy Chief. So he states that. Read with paragraph 68. So he did indicate that he does not have the letter appointing him to that position. At 68, he then says, I next saw him, I think, during the first week of December.
Okay, maybe then let me ask the question.
Yes.
Let me ask the chief the question. Chief Mapiyeye, do you know as a fact that Brigadier Mkhwanazi was promoted on the 1st of December? As a matter of fact, you know that?
I cannot confirm that because I didn't see the letter appointing him that as from the first. As I've earlier indicated as well, the letter I wrote to the HOD Human Resource. On the first week of December, it's when I saw him wearing the rank of a Deputy Chief of Police.
And when you earlier said he was appointed on the 1st, and where you say purportedly on the 1st of December, are you saying that because in that first week you saw him dressed the way that you say, or is there another reason why you say the 1st of December?
Prior to that, this information will be with the next witness, which is Commissioner Spies, because he is running the auxiliary and support services of Metro Police. I'm told that Julius went there just before the 1st to demand the rank from the staff who are dealing with those assets. And they refused to give him, they wanted a letter. But Space has got all these facts. It seems the letter he finally produced it, which came from the office of the city manager. So, but I did not also see that letter.
Okay, so Commissioner Spies is the right person to speak to.
That is correct, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner's Chair. If I may, to the documents we called upon to produce, so we don't bring the wrong documents. The third lot, if I understood the Chair correctly, is a request for files relating to the 2 employees who were terminated and re-employed. May I refer us to paragraph 86 of the statement? And 86. In a bid to understand whether it is in respect of those employees that the documents are required or something else. At 86, Chief Mapiyeye states, as Commissioner Spies will elaborate further during his testimony, the disciplinary process is initiated against them. Those were the members implicated in the criminal conduct. They were continuously frustrated internally. No, there were continuous frustrations internally or intention to frustrate the process. And they, meaning the 2 employees, were reassigned to their substantive positions and their service weapons restored to them.
Yes.
My check is that where the query comes from?
That's the yes.
Okay.
But it seems perhaps that the reference to termination was erroneous. Yes.
So then, insofar then it's not termination, but that is what the documents are interested to address. As the witness says, the next witness, Commissioner Spies, will address them himself to that.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
We've taken note of the rest of the request and we will deal with it. Thank you, Chair. You very briefly, in your last chapter, deal with what you call the laying off trumped up charges against you. And by briefly, I mean you very briefly, you don't, besides indicating that you were suspended on the 25th September 2024 on bogus claims that you had sexually harassed a fellow officer, and you attach SJM 35 a copy of that suspension letter, you do not deal with the content really of the charges, and I'm not inviting you to necessarily. I want you to make then just your brief concluding remarks about these so-called, what you call trumped up charges. You talk about where the process is, what the next step is, and what you understand has subsequently transpired. That you do from paragraph 113 at page 30.
SC, are you saying I must just conclude, I must just concentrate on page 31?
Yeah, we are now at page 30. We're now at page 30. Yes. I've said you have introduced your suspension letter, okay, and you have indicated that your suspension letter charges you with what you call bogus claims that you sexually harassed a fellow officer. Is that correct?
That is correct, SC.
So I'm inviting you to deal with the contents of your statement from paragraph 113. And I highlight that besides telling us that you were suspended and you have given us the letter of suspension which reflects these charges, you don't engage with the charges any further in the statement. And I'm not inviting you to do so now. I just want you to deal with the contents of 113 to 115. You may read them, you may summarize what you have set out therein, whatever works best for you.
On page 30, laying of trumped up of charges against me, paragraph number 112, I was suspended on the 25th of September 2024 on bogus claims that I had sexually harassed a fellow officer. I attached Annexure MJ 35, that was my charge sheet or the letter of suspension. The leading of evidence has concluded in this matter, and the heads of argument have been filed during October 2025. Arguments is set down for the 14th of November 2025. To my knowledge, my suspension and subsequent disciplinary prosecution was never approved by council, which appointed me. Since my suspension, various other employees have been suspended and have faced disciplinary proceedings instituted against them. Some have been dismissed. One thing in common these employees have is that they dare to challenge decision by or unduly favored Brigadier Mkhwanazi. In conclusion, the situation that has been permitted to develop in Ekurhuleni and within some units in EMPD, in particular, disconcerting and the demand immediate intervention. Rather than provide protection to the citizens of Ekurhuleni, some of the EMPD members have become a source of danger to these citizens. I trust that the Commission's recommendation will assist the EMPD in addressing some of the challenges I have highlighted in this statement. As you indicated it has to be on a high level. I need to do that, the high level, because immediately when I was placed on...
Apologies, may I understand what needs to be at a high level, Chief?
I wanted to highlight that immediately when I was placed on suspension,
yes,
my status of life and the risk which I am.
You may address yourself to the commissioners.
I do not know, seated here, SC, that would I have that opportunity to conclude.
I'm inviting you to. I just wanted to understand what it is you wanted to give a high level comment on. But thank you.
SC and the Commission, I'm still an employee of the city of Ekurhuleni, being the Chief of Police. I have served this city for 42 years. I have created enemies, not only in Ekurhuleni, around the country, by arresting serious, hardened criminals. But immediately when I was suspended, my protection was taken away. Meanwhile, there is a report which IPID and the relevant department have done risk assessment around my life. My protection was taken away, firearms were taken away. Without any protection currently. Meanwhile, I'm still the employee of the city. Whilst the employee who alleges sexual harassment has been given protection, being protected by the city, given officers, plus additionally outside security members. That security is even extended to even the family members. Some of these other employees who were targeted, whom I've mentioned here, in the case itself, they were not even considered for any security issues. Lastly, Commissioner, I'm not going...
Before you move on, should your focus not more be on your own security? I'm asking this because I'm not sure to what extent you are aware of the threat and risk assessment that was done, if it was done, in respect of the employee who has complained about sexual harassment against you.
I hear you very well, Commissioner, and I concur with you. I cannot preempt. I must look at my space. That is what I've addressed with regard to my security. Whilst there was a report which detailed my threat assessment, so all that protection was taken away from me.
There was something else you wanted to say. Sorry I interrupted you.
I think, Commissioners, I will stop at that because I don't want to talk about other people. I must talk about myself, my space, and the risk I'm subjected at, and my family. That is the space I'm concerned about, including my health status. I am at home for the past 12 months and 2 months, I think a year and 2 months. With these challenges I'm seated with, they impact very negatively to my health status and my family at large.
Thank you very much, Chief Mapiyeye. I'm glad that you had the opportunity to explain to the commissioners your personal situation. Chair, that brings us to the conclusion of the testimony of Chief Mapiyeye, unless there are questions that you...
Thank you, Ms. Olo.
Well, I think on the back of what you've just said now, perhaps it's appropriate to ask the question. As at the date of your suspension in 2024, was Brigadier Mkhwanazi still at work?
When my memory serves me well, Commissioners, he immediately took over as the acting chief of police.
And do you have any knowledge today, as you sit there, whether he is at work or on suspension?
all what I've learned, commissioners, immediately I think he acted as a chief of police. Later on, he acted as the head of community safety. Though I could pick that up, I'm not at work. He acted as the head of community safety, alternating between the two. Up until recently, when I saw on the national TV, when they were saying they're interviewing the acting chief of police, I think last month, acting chief of police Mkhwanazi.
So as at the date of your suspension at least, he was not on suspension, notwithstanding these serious allegations against him.
That is correct, commissioners. He was not on suspension.
All right. And then just to go back to that last letter, your letter of suspension, maybe it is important, I thought, Ms. Silo, as a starting point to place on record that the letter at page 3 thereof, I think it's marked 12, it indicates, for what it's worth, it indicates that it is signed by the acting city manager, Mr. Chilidzi Tenga. You see that?
That is correct,
you
Commissioner.
that? Yes, so it's not signed by Dr. Mashazi.
That is correct, Commissioner. I remember very well.
All right. And then go to page 1 of that same letter. In light of...
I apologize. Chief, please refer to your big file. Commissioner Baloyi is inviting you to... That is at page 228 of the big file.
It's JM 35?
Yes.
Very last document, Chief.
228. The last document in that file. Have you located it?
I've got it, SC.
Okay. Then Commissioner Baloyi would like to engage you on that letter.
All right. So at the very first page, and what I'm going to put to you arises from your statement, and you don't need to go there. I'll read it. It's a very short thing in your statement. At paragraph 114 of your statement, you say, to my knowledge, my suspension and subsequent disciplinary prosecution was never approved by council which appointed me. You remember you said that?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I just wanted you to point out at least something about council. In the first page of your letter of suspension, the very first paragraph, it says, on Friday, 13 September 2024, council resolved that such allegations be investigated by an independent investigator appointed by the city, and that a report be submitted to council within 30 days of such appointment. You see where I'm reading?
I know the letter you are reading.
Okay, all right. Did you ever get any knowledge whether a report was submitted to council within the 30 days of appointment of an investigator? Well, maybe let me ask first. Do you know that an investigator was appointed?
I know that a company was appointed to do that investigation.
Yes.
And I went to see this company because they called me and said they want to do an interview with me.
Yes.
When I arrived to that company, I was not comfortable to proceed with them. I'm not good.
Allow me to interrupt you, at least for this purpose. I don't want you to get into the detail of this matter. I just wanted to confirm that what is recorded in the first paragraph, where it says an independent investigator was appointed on the instruction of council or resolution, you are aware of that?
I'm aware of that, Commissioner.
And do you know whether a report was submitted to council after that investigation?
It might have been submitted, but at a later stage during my disciplinary proceeding, I requested through my lawyer We requested that report. It was never provided to us.
Okay. So your answer is you don't know whether it was submitted.
That is correct,
All right, thank
Commissioner.
you. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Ms. Ella.
And if I may just then ask a follow-up question, and this is the absolute last. And it's because you referenced what you requested during the disciplinary process. And you say to Commissioner Baloyi that you requested specifically the report to council requested in the suspension letter. You just answered that. You say you requested for that report and it was not provided during the hearing through your attorney, you said.
That is correct,
Okay.
Commissioner.
Now, did you ever, whether prior to or during the disciplinary process, request or were shown the council resolution to suspend you?
I never seen a council resolution which stated that I must be suspended.
Thank you.
We have requested it. It was never provided to us.
Thank you. Chair, this is, I guess, second time I say, unless there are further questions and none from my side, that brings us to the conclusion of the testimony of Chief Mapiyeye.
Thank you. Thank you,
Chair.
Mr. Law. Chief Mapiyeye, thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Let us-
Commissioners.
Yes. Let us adjourn and resume at 2:30.
Thank you, Chair.